Leslie and I have known each other since early childhood. We grew up on the same country road in Mississippi.
I think why we're good for the community of Mississippi is because we're a product of this community. We are just two country guys, and we were embedded with what I call the diamonds of good character.
Come, join the family, and help us build the community.
Charles.
Leslie Peters.
It's another Friday, my friend.
Boy, oh boy, is it a Friday? It is October 2nd, and just when you thought 2020 couldn't get any stranger,
it did. It did. It did indeed. It got stranger, and it got stranger very quickly and abruptly. You know, anytime you see because I'm usually a digital person, so anytime you see me with a notepad full of notes like this, it's been one of those days.
Boy, look, I want to start by doing something that I don't know that would be done in return, but I want to send well wishes and prayers to the President and First Lady of the United States of America.
Yeah, and likewise. Obviously, for a speedy recovery, and many who may have just turned off the news and may not be aware of why we're doing that. Charles, why don't you enlighten our audience of why we're sending out those well wishes?
Well, I do it in long form. It's been a heck of a day because I told you that I wanted to talk about the ripple effect, and that ripple effect is directly related to the White House and their handling of COVID-19, coronavirus. Around 9 p.m. last night, we found out that one of the closest aides to President Trump, Hope Hicks, had been confirmed positive with COVID-19, which sent the whole country in a tizzy in the middle of the night. A lot of people were asleep. Why is that important? Because she started showing symptoms on the flight and had to quarantine on the flight from Minneapolis. And so once that happened, then we've talked about it many times. It only takes one person to set off an event. And when you're talking about an event in this age of Corona, that is the spread of COVID-19, which can be catastrophic. Now, that ripple effect is more than just the spread. I send well wishes first and genuinely mean it because I am a big believer in the United States of America. Neither one of us would be sitting here doing a live and have the ability to do a live were it not for the First Amendment. Now, for whatever ails us as far as grievances because of how Black folks have been treated in America, we still have opportunities, and we have to make the most of those. In the age of Corona, we know that Black people are being drastically affected with death, with infection, with economic hardship that can be laid directly at the feet of the president. And so while I wish him well in his recovery, it is despicable to me that we are at this point to have this discussion, and the only thing that could get his attention is for him to contract COVID. What do I mean by ripple effect? When you look at the Woodward tapes, which let us know that the president knew how bad COVID is, and he knew probably before anybody because he gets a briefing book on a daily basis that lays out the troubles in the world, domestic and foreign. And he has top scientists of every type at his disposal because, let's face it, he's the president of the United States, which means he's likely the most powerful person in the entire world. Okay? If you start there, that's ripple number one. You knew and you did nothing. That's reckless indifference. And then something as simple as a mask. I sent you an article to put up for the people. I'll let you put that up while I'm talking. When you play with something like a pandemic, this is what you get. When you play this long, not only do you put the country at risk, and right now we're at 208,000 deaths, but you also put yourself at risk. It can get to you. Corona does not. How many times have I told you, Leslie, that Corona does not differentiate by power, class, status, color,
our money,
sexual orientation, money, big hands, small hands. Corona does not care. And a lot of times the things that you can do that have been shown to be effective, wear a mask, social distance, those are the things that have been poo-pooed from the very top of our leadership, which means there is no leadership at all because 50% of the country believe everything that the president says. And if you have 50% of the people in the boat rowing one way and the other 50% relying on science, well, guess what? We're not getting anywhere. And as a result, we are heading into the third peak of COVID-19. Which is very saddening because he played too long.
So, I've been thinking about this, and so I want to play devil's advocate a little bit here. So, Charles, what about those who are somewhat skeptical of, including me at sometimes, and I'll be honest with you, somewhat skeptical of the messaging that comes out of 1600 Pennsylvania, because we can't always take it as face value. It's been proven that we cannot take it as face value, just as you referred to the Woodward tapes that showed that what he was saying was not in fact the truth. So what if we're a little bit skeptical of whether, specifically since they've stated he has mild cases, both he and the First Lady have mild cases of the virus, what kind of stock, or what kind of confidence can we put in the fact that he actually has the virus? Is this case legitimate, or is this just another situation or facade of I'm trying to get to this result, but I'm gonna send out this message to get there?
I'm gonna look directly in this camera and I'm gonna answer your question, and I'm gonna say that this is ripple number 2, because the single largest source of disinformation on COVID-19 has been Donald John Trump. So you are right to be skeptical. However, this is the United States of America. They don't scramble bomber jets and fighter jets 30 minutes before they announce that the president has COVID-19 for no reason. The fact that the president of the free world has been diagnosed is enough to cause ripples across the universe. Do you understand that there are people that have nuclear weapon capabilities right now, and when they heard that, the first thing that they thought about was, who's running the country?
Yeah.
So that puts us squarely into a national security risk category that is extremely high. When we were growing up, they used to use the term DEFCON.
Yep.
This is the highest level, because the presidency of the United States is bigger than any one person. And I've said it before, we the people control who sits in that seat, but that seat actually means something. So you're right to be skeptical, but let's not ignore the fact that as we were coming on the air, he is now being transported to Walter Reed Hospital It's not a game, people. At 74 years old, and let's call it fat, let's call it unknown other health issues, because presidents are notorious for not releasing their health records, not just him. He's got comorbidities that put him at extreme danger. So not only does he have to quarantine, he needs 24-hour care and monitoring. Things that we've been talking about on this little show are reaching out. So I'm going to correct you, 1600 Black Lives Plaza.
Well, you know, I mean, that brings up an interesting point, but I had to put it out there because I know probably for the first time, I would definitely would say for the first time in my adult life, I'm not judging this based on speculation or assumptions or emotions at all. I'm just basing it on facts of what we've seen in the last 3 years, that the messaging that comes out of there has often turned out to be not the truth. And he's admitted to it. So that's why I said I was skeptical to believe it. But believe me when I say I sincerely wish the health of both the president and the first lady, period. I don't want anybody else. I didn't want not the first death to happen with COVID. But we have to now look at the fact that what we've been screaming about for months now, this is real. The pandemic is still the pandemic. It didn't change its colors. It didn't change its approach. It didn't change its tactics. The pandemic is still the pandemic. It is who we thought it was. It is. And so I think when we look at the president of the free world, who we know has the best healthcare, access to the best healthcare that's humanly possible in the world. Would you agree with that statement?
To a certain extent, yes.
Okay. So has access to the most advanced testing that we have at our disposal.
So start right there. And this is why I said to a certain extent.
Okay.
I knew you were about to say that. Testing is a preventative measure, but we have heard from Dr. Anthony Fauci, Dr. Deborah Birx, Dr. Redfield. We've heard from all of them that the leading driver in bringing down COVID-19 cases is masks. Testing lets you know where the hotspots are so that you can contact trace and do all the things that you need to do to try to address things swiftly to contain areas, right?
Right.
One of the traps that the White House and the Trump regime have fallen into is relying on the fact that they have better tests than everybody else. Well, it turns out that the Abbott test that they've been using produces a lot of false negatives. Hope Hicks was allowed on that plane because she tested negative, and then her circumstances started to change quickly.
Yeah. Well, we all know it. I mean, and listen, this is nothing different. I mean, I have been tested for the flu before, for pneumonia before, and 2 days later, I had problems.
That's right.
And, and tested negative. So it happens, right? And I think the other the big thing that I want all of us to pay attention to today, because this is serious. This is, you know, I can't remember if it was in New York, if it was the Washington Post or New York Times with the headline this morning, but it was referencing that this is certainly the most, this certainly has dangerous consequences for the United States. The reality is, just as recent as the debate a few days ago, the president of the free world was making sarcastic remarks around masks, and the former vice president wearing them. I want all of you to be safe. So if this doesn't get the message home that all of you need to wear masks, and I've seen comments on social media this week, particularly even in the state of Mississippi with Tate Reeves adjusting the mandate. I've heard comments and watched comments on social media that say, "Hey, mask, I burned all mine an hour ago." When he made that announcement and that type of thing. Well, you might want to get you some more.
Well,
you may want to get you some more.
Here's the thing, even more so than teasing Joe Biden at the debate about the size of his mask, It's the example that he set. Because now, as I was driving in from court a few minutes ago, Chris Wallace says that the test that the debate commission provided was done on the honor system. The president got there at about 4 or 5 p.m. He didn't take their test.
Oh.
That's one. Two, it was hosted by the Cleveland Clinic. They provided masks for everyone. The Trump delegation, including his family, including Hope Hicks, entered the building with masks on and took them off as being smartasses. Let's call it what it is. Because they have downplayed the seriousness of this pandemic. Therefore, they put everyone in that hall at risk. Because at that point, she has already been she's already got symptoms. She's pre-symptomatic. They don't know it. She doesn't start showing the actual symptoms until Wednesday evening. But guess what? We know in the gestational period, hey, she put everybody at risk. And I'm gonna go a step further. Today is a somber day in the United States because the president has been diagnosed with COVID-19. Last night, less than 24 hours ago, they knew and were not going to tell us. They didn't reach out to the Biden campaign. They didn't reach out to Chris Wallace. They didn't reach out to anyone. This only leaked because the people who have been denying signs, you remember when we put that mask image up?
Okay.
They have been denying it by just not wearing them. We're made out of Teflon. His nickname used to be Teflon Don. The reason it broke on Bloomberg News is because something strange started happening in the East Wing and the West Wing. Masks started popping up all of a sudden because they have been working in open defiance of the mask rules and regulations that their scientists have been telling them. But masks started popping up Thursday, which begs the question, what is going on here? Because this is out of character. And that's how we found out that Hope Hicks was positive. Mm-hmm. Not because they took the high road and said, we have somebody high up in the administration that has fallen sick with COVID, but because the news media, the fourth estate, was right there to check and let that information out.
Well, and I think you got to realize too, and this is bigger. This is much a bigger picture. And when you talk about the messaging that gets sent, you got to realize the president travels with a whole fleet of media, as all presidents do. I'm wondering, obviously, a lot of those travel and with the culture that has been created in the camp is shunned upon if you wear a mask. I don't even know.
Pool reporters. Okay, so what you're talking about is the people that are on the plane. You've got the president's inner circle. Mm-hmm. We now know that his inner circle, meaning basically his entire family, his top political aides, his top strategists, and then other people that are working people from the administration that have the work has to go on no matter where he is, and then the pool reporters. They all get tested. You can't get on Air Force One if you don't get tested. But we know that the pool reporters have been wearing their masks. It's just like this. You can say whatever you want to say. I got a family to go home to, and I'm not the president. So they've been wearing their masks. But the issue that creates is, think of the magnitude of people that the president of the United States meets with on a daily basis in just one 24-hour period.
Right.
And so now, think about this. It's estimated that she was pre-symptomatic on Monday, Sunday, Friday. I skipped Saturday, Friday, probably as far back as Thursday. Couple that with the fact that they just had a ceremony in the Rose Garden on Saturday, I believe it was, to announce the new Supreme Court nominee.
Right.
And guess what happened at that?
Yep.
The president of Notre Dame tested positive. He was at that event.
Mm.
So all these events where they have been shunning masks, have been shunning social distancing and saying, oh, we're outside, so it doesn't matter. That's not what the science says. So you think about trying to contact trace that. And you couple that with the fact that they are in a heated presidential campaign and you were on stage for 90 minutes without a mask, per the agreement, but you were yelling. That means you was spewing spit into the air. You put everybody on that stage, everybody backstage, and everybody in the audience at risk. Everybody has heard me talk about the choir rehearsal that went bad where everybody got sick.
Yeah.
No different with talking. So we're talking about a ripple effect of malfeasance because you are showing those who follow you closely that it's okay to shun masks, a la Tate Reeves, governor of Mississippi, removing the mask mandate while he opens up the state fair, meaning that you're going to have people crammed in there and half the people are not going to have masks, half the people will.
Yeah. I mean, you know, listen, Texas is a big state. We can factually say Texas is a lot bigger than the state of Mississippi, correct?
Yeah.
We don't have a state fair going on this year. So they have created something such as a drive-by where you can drive by and take a picture with the mascot, which is not actually a person, big text. But we don't have a state fair. So are you telling me Mississippi is actually going forward with the state fair? Is that what I'm hearing you say?
Yep. So hopefully the city of Jackson, where the state fair is held, which has had good common sense to keep a stay-at-home executive order in place, will override what the governor is saying. But because the governor has put that in place, good luck enforcing it. Now he's asking for in-person school to start up. I'm not sure what's going on in the governor's mansion, but it is contrary to science.
Well, listen, I don't pretend to have the answers to that because I think it's absolutely crazy that you could even think about doing what I'm hearing you say. So, state fair.
That's a ripple because you have leadership from the very top of the United States that is filtering out, and they're putting party over country. We're all Americans. We all want to be safe.
I'm just going through let me get to some of the comments we got coming in. This is a lot I know you guys have thoughts about this. I know, like me, none of us ever expected to hear the words that the president and the first lady had contracted the coronavirus. But
why not? But why not? Why not? If you're flouting what the scientists are telling you, Dr. Fauci is a highly decorated scientist, and he's right there with you. But you're running him off for a radiologist. So why not? Because you haven't followed the simple rules of social distancing.
Look, you don't have to tell me. I'm right there with you. And I think that's the question that somebody, we should have been asking. Why are we shocked that he has it? He has not utilized the protocols. He has not been an advocate for wearing masks. He's not been an advocate for you wearing your mask. So why not him? I mean, he's not exempt. And as you've said many times, the coronavirus does not have a certain type. The coronavirus does not have a certain color. The coronavirus does not have a certain age. The coronavirus does not have a certain geographic location. The coronavirus doesn't care how much money is in your bank account or how much is not there. The coronavirus doesn't care about your neighborhood or your zip code. The coronavirus simply doesn't care.
It doesn't care. And when you lie, so you know this. The little boy who cried wolf, they ran down that hill to help him twice. That third time, he got ate up. See,
so family, open it up. We got the comments coming in. So let me go to the comments and see what they got.
Let's see what they got.
Let's see what we got. All right. Mom says, when you do it your way without any clear understanding of science, this is what happens.
Yeah, but here's the thing. That is not exactly a true statement. They understand the science, but they have chosen a party line over the science.
Yeah. There's a difference in understanding it and ignoring it.
That's right. They have chosen to ignore what's right. And what's right is so simple.
You know, I think the comment I'm about to put up at least says we're living in a red state nightmare. I think this comment that Mom says it sums up quite a bit of what I think a lot of people were thinking. Hey, I'm shocked because he gets away with so much. I figured he would never get it.
And again, I say, but why not? Because he gets away with lying, but guess what's happening? It is October 2nd, 2020. That means it's 32 days from the election. And we'll talk about all the shenanigans with voting and all that, but this is bigger than that. Because now we are in a national security crisis. You have people legitimately asking about continuity of government last night at 1 a.m. because if he gets sick, Mike Pence gets sick as vice president, then Nancy Pelosi is next up to be president. She is of age. She's sharp, she's tough, but she's of age. What if she came in contact with someone? After her, I think it's Chuck Grassley. He's 87 years old. Corona is very similar to Wu-Tang Clan.
Wait a minute, Charles. Wait a minute. Did you just compare Corona to the Wu-Tang Clan? You
got to go into those chambers, bro. You got to go into them. Wu-Tang Clan ain't nothing to play with.
You know, look, we got Nilly in the house today, and I know Nilly's been quiet, but I know Nilly has always had some thoughts on this. So, Nilly, I know you laying low. Might be laying low for a reason, but I'd love to hear you chime in, brother. As we go, pull some of these comments. We got Iris here. I'm just going to run through a couple and get these in. Yeah, we did start the show with skepticism, Iris, and I think Charles brought in the fact that the latest information we got, they were transporting the president to Walter Reed. Here's what I can tell you. If they because it's not like they don't have medical facilities in the White House. If they transport him to Walter Reed, I don't think it's so mild.
It may be mild, but here's the thing. I get that everybody has skepticism because Trump lies. I get that. But what I need to happen is what I saw was people celebrating because he had COVID. No, because it could be you next. It's 208,000 people dead. And I get that he can be, I don't know. I mean, there's so many different words that you could use to describe him. And after that debate performance, you know, that was debasing to the body politic nationwide. We have allies that we depend on to help secure not only the homeland, but other places in the world where nobody has the freedoms that we have. So imagine what they were looking at when you see the president of the United States acting like a kindergartner.
Yeah, it was not a shining moment.
So yeah, I get the skepticism, but you got to make a distinction between the man and the office of presidency, because you cannot just rest on the laziness of saying he lies. He does, but the presidency is bigger than him. We have a chance to change that. We shouldn't be celebrating because he has COVID. We should be wishing him well and getting out and working. Mm-hmm. This is no time to rest. I gave you some more articles to put up. Just because he's in the hospital does not mean his work will not go on.
All right, and look, let's keep the main thing, and realize that Marsha puts it best. Right, nothing to celebrate. Another child has both parents that are positive, and that's true. And that's been the saga of millions and millions of Americans. We got 209,000 Americans that are dead. Guys, look, we started this at 143,000, and I said, look, it took Vietnam 20 years for 245,000 to die. Now we're officially 6 months in. Well, we're in October now, so we start month 7, and we have 200 and how many? What'd you say?
209,000 with an estimated 200,000 more because
209,000 dead.
Right, with an estimated 200 more by January. So here's what I will say. I had a whole spiel set because we got some guests in the house. I saw you put Cameron up. We got some guests in the house, and I told them I was going to talk about the rise of black politics and power in the South because there are races going on. But I want to just laser in on this for a minute. In 1984, Ronald Reagan was shot. That threw the country into a tizzy, right?
Right.
It's not often that you have, in our lifetime, that you've had presidential mayhem like this. That's one example. Another example that came to mind is this. In 2008, John McCain versus Barack Obama. The sky fell out of the financial market. And it scared everybody because the banks started shutting down everything. Mm-hmm. High calamity in the economic world to the point where we were looking right over the edge and it was nothing but darkness.
Right.
One campaign was prepared and speaking truth to power. One campaign had to suspend. And we know the outcome. But we couldn't rest on our laurels then. We cannot rest now. I hate the fella got COVID. I really do. But I'm not surprised that he got COVID. I just hope he recovers because he means a lot. Whether we like him or not, he means a lot to the United States of America.
Yeah, and I think Alicia agrees with you as her comment here. That was her sentiments exactly. She said, surprised that he's just not getting it, thought because of his negligent behavior that he would have already tested positive, although thought it would be kept a super secret if he contracted COVID-19. And I think Charles alluded to that earlier. He wasn't the one to tell us.
No, he wasn't. But here's the thing. That was about his aide. If the president gets sick to the point that he's incapacitated, this is the United States of America, man. He can't hide that. Now, is he going to tell the truth about how sick he is? Is he going to tell the truth and humble himself and talk about COVID like he has some maturity and some real chops about him to be displaying presidential leadership? I don't know. I don't expect much. But what I do know is he's had every opportunity to do that. He's met us with lies. The American people can rise to every occasion if you tell them the truth. The measure of a leader is how you rally your troops when you're down. You've been in the huddle in the fourth quarter and you need a touchdown or you need an interception, you need a turnover in order to get back in the game. The coach is going to tell you, this is what I need from you. This is what I need. Can you give it to me?
Yeah.
If you need 2 free throws and it's 5 seconds left, you know you're not getting the ball back. But if you make those 2 free throws, you can get the overtime. We could have got to overtime on this virus 3 months ago. But we didn't have leadership from the top. And we got a whole bunch of pigeon boys like Tate Reeves that's, giving bad information.
Yeah. I think just switching gears a little bit, because I know you got Cameron in the house, I do want to talk about, which might be a tough subject. I want to talk about a question Chris Wallace asked in the debate, because I think it speaks to our audience, it speaks to me, speaks to you. He asked 2 questions that were very pointed. I'll never forget. He asked, would you denounce white supremacy? And then the second was, he asked him, and I'm paraphrasing a little bit, but what was his intentions, or what actions were he going to take regarding race relations in the U.S.? Being pending that he had just made the announcement to denounce or remove the processes that were in place and the training that was in place for sensitivity around those subjects. I don't know if you were listening to that part of the debate. I know because of his behavior and how hot he came out, it kind of overshadowed that, and I hadn't heard a lot of chatter about that. But I did want to bring that topic up today, just to get people's thought process and see if I was the only one who heard that, or maybe other people heard it, or maybe my TV was saying something different. But it seems that not many have heard this. I'm just curious, family. Did you hear that part of the debate? What are your thoughts?
You see how I'm looking at you right now? He answered neither one of those questions. In fact, he told the Proud Boys to stand back and stand by. Everybody knows what stand by means.
Yep.
But here's what I will tell you about that, Liz. Here's my thought on that. And I got a whole thesis for you on this one, buddy. This is 2020 in America. We've had every kind of catastrophic bingo category on the bingo card. The Proud Boys ain't stopping nothing. You have a right, not a privilege, you have a right to go vote. I'm not 3/5 of a man. I'm not a half of a man. I'm a whole man. Matter of fact, I've already voted. You're not going to stop what's coming. But it was a calculated play based off of fact. I don't know why people are surprised that the man couldn't denounce white supremacy. I mean, if we run it back, this is the same man who would change out the dealers in his Atlantic City casino that were black if he had a high roller on the floor, because he didn't trust him to do the count right. And he wanted to have a white casino floor. This is the same man who put an ad out because of the Central Park Five advocating for the death penalty for teenagers because they were black, and he assumed, and he still wouldn't recant on that even after.
I mean, this is also the same person that got sanctioned by HUD for discriminatory housing practice.
Same man who wouldn't denounce David Duke. The same man who tried to delegitimize Barack Obama's presidency by asking about his birth certificate.
Oh. But the same one that won't release his tax returns. Yeah, I got it. I get it. Let me digress. I get it. And so
I can do this with you all day. So why are you surprised? And then if you go to the question of racial sensitivity, catch this. He said he got rid of it because it was racist. So you know what that means?
I do.
Racial sensitivity is in place so that you can express the inequities in a safe space and show people what it's like to walk a mile in your shoes, right?
That's right.
So here's the thing. That means what he's saying is he doesn't want to walk a mile in my shoes. And it's uncomfortable to him to have to role play as a black man in America. Well, I guess it is. George Floyd was down for 9 minutes and 46 seconds before his life left. Breonna Taylor
was
asleep in her bed. And now we find out that a black man, the attorney general, possibly lied to us, to our face, and tried to make us feel comfortable with the ruling. So, yeah, no, I probably, I get it. It don't make it right. But what that should do is cause us to find consensus. You have a sitting senator from the state of Mississippi by the name of Cindy Hyde Smith running against Alfonso Michael Espy, HBCU grad, and they have diametrically opposed visions for Mississippi.
The choice is simple when you look at the facts. I'm just going to be honest with you. We have to, I recorded a podcast today that'll be out tomorrow that simply says, "Go time is now." Go time is now. It right now in Mississippi. I think to your understanding, you can go ahead and do your absentee voting now. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Do it now. Why wait? Do it now. See, I'm a proponent because do it while you're thinking about it. Let's not wait till
don't wait till election day. Do not wait till election day. Because if you heard the president say it's something going wrong in Philly,
right,
and you find out that he was lying again because he didn't have any registered poll watchers in Philly, nor is it the time for poll watchers in Philly because they're early voting. So don't listen to that. All that stuff is designed to depress the vote because if we vote, we win. It's just that simple. It's 40% black in Mississippi. We shouldn't have to beg and plead for a seat at the table. Make a table. I beg to differ. It's not a sad time in the United States of America. It is a very positive time. Because let's roll the tape back. Let's roll it back for a second, Leslie. When they had true poll taxes and they had true poll watchers.
Right.
When they had people exploiting the fact that you might not read that well or they made you pay.
Or the Jim Crow laws where they give you a test and ask you this ridiculous stuff.
This is 2020 in America. It's been not the greatest year, but guess what? If we decide that we're gonna do it, let's do it.
Right.
Don't make no excuses.
So if we decide we're gonna make a change, we can make a change.
That's right.
I'm suggesting we decide right now. Look, and then I'm gonna encourage all of you to take it a step further. It's not enough just for you to vote.
No.
Get your neighbors, have the conversation, have those conversations. Have the conversations with young people, have the conversation with old people, have the conversation with everybody. Don't assume. Have the conversation about voting because go time is now.
Yeah. So let me frame this up because I do have some people that I invited in today, and I know they want to know what I'm thinking because they got something that they got to write. Georgia is the example that I always put on the table. I'm going to skip that one for a second, and I'm going to go to South Carolina. South Carolina has a chance to have 2 black senators. South Carolina, for those of you who have been with us for a while, you know I talked about Reconstruction. In my mind, this is nothing new. This is a continuation.
Yeah.
The votes are there. When you look at the cost of living in the South, when you look at jobs that are available in the South that may not pay as much as a northern job, but because of the low cost of living, decent education, and if you don't like the education, you put them in private school. It's a lot of advantages. Climate. People are now migrating back to the South. Black, white, brown, and we have the chance, a unique chance, to build coalitions. So South Carolina is one of those spots where that's actually happening. Why is it happening? Because Senator Lindsey Graham, decided that he would go against his word. One thing that people don't like is politicians who lie. Donald Trump has been the exception to the rule because he had a Twitter account and somehow people got neutered by a Twitter account, right? Secondly, now let's roll back to Mississippi. 40% black population. You have 100,000 people who haven't voted since 2008. You hear me, Leslie? 2008. If we find those people and put them to the task of voting, we can get that Senate seat. Now, let's go to Georgia. Go back 10 years. Fulton County was the seat of power for black power in Atlanta. Now, if you go to all the collar counties around Fulton County, black population has risen. Latinx population has risen. Asian population has risen. Liberal white population has risen. Coalition building. That is the dynamic of the new South. Diverse, smart, and if we work together, we can set our own destiny. Just because 2020 has been bad does not mean that it has to stay bad. We got 32 days. We need 4 seats to flip the Senate. Why is that important? Because yes, we need a new president. Everybody that listens to this show know we need a new president. But the Senate is just as important because women's rights. Roe v. Wade, even though they don't want to come out and say it, a woman's right to choose is on the ballot. Why is that important? We're not women, but a woman's body is her body. If ain't nobody checking for a man's body, get off the women and let them do whatever they want to do with their body. Healthcare. You got 100 million people out there that's got pre-existing conditions. And as much as we talk about COVID on this show, really? COVID has what's called long haulers, meaning that
long haulers.
Yes, that's the new terminology, which means long after you get over your initial symptoms and you can go back out into the world, you now have pre-existing conditions.
I think let's part right there. As the good good Baptist preachers would say, let's park there for a second.
All right.
You talk about pre-existing conditions. We know I've lived my life with some of those pre-existing conditions. But when we talk about it in relations to COVID, I need you to slow down because a lot of people might not be understanding what you're talking about. Because, theory has been, if you get COVID, unfortunately, you get diagnosed with COVID, you contract COVID, and you're fortunate, you survive it, you come through it and recover, that it's over. What you just suggested would supplant that thought. It would suggest that it's not always over, that there's some long-term side effects, that COVID has now created other health issues in a person. Is that what you're saying? And if so, could you elaborate a little bit?
That is exactly what I'm saying. There are studies out now from the first wave that are showing us that people get over the initial symptoms, and there are so many different symptom combinations that you can have with COVID, that people are having trouble with their eyes, people are having trouble with their lungs, people are having trouble with their limbs, people are having trouble with headaches. All of those things become pre-existing conditions in the eyes of the insurance. I don't know about you, but I remember a time before Obamacare.
I do. I do.
Yes. And so when you talk about, okay, here's where that skepticism comes in again. They have been lying to the people. They're in court. November 10th, they're going to hear a case that is attempting to strip away more and more, if not all, of the Affordable Care Act. So that's why the Supreme Court is important, right?
I mean, absolutely. It's critical. It's not just important, it's critical.
But they would have you believe that they have this magical plan that's going to be better for healthcare.
Well, here's the thing. I can't judge the plan. I can't actually take a look at the plan because the plan doesn't exist. A plan has not been presented. So I think, so when you say that, I find that very hard to even evaluate a plan if the plan doesn't exist or has not been made available. So I haven't seen a plan, a counter plan in that this administration has presented. I've just seen the efforts to take away the existing plan, but I haven't seen an alternative. I've just heard hyperboles about an alternative.
There is no alternative plan other than to put the insurance executives back in the captain's seat so that they can run the price of prescription medication up. I don't know if you saw Katie Porter and her whiteboard, Congresswoman from California, when she ripped the pharmaceutical exec a new one because she asked him a simple question: where do you think the rise in your bonus came from? And then she got on her whiteboard and she showed him where it came from. An additional $500,000 in bonus simply because you ran the cost of one prescription drug up.
Right. And guys, remember when I showed you a while back, we did the study on inequality for all, and we looked at the wealth gap and why we have it. Remember, the top 1% has increased earning powers over 400%. while the rest of us, most of us on the other tier, we've been down. And so we're just remembering 2010, the average male salary for average male worker was $48,000. In 2020, it's 33.
Right.
So it would seem that you would never think you would regress in terms of earning power as the years go, because you think about it, technology advances. The way we do roads advanced, the way they build houses advanced, the way we watch TV advanced, the way we secure our homes advanced, but yet our earning power regressed. There's something wrong with it. There's something fundamentally wrong with that when it only regresses in certain segments of the population. And then in the other segments of the population, it ramps up at a rapid pace that hasn't happened before in a large span of years. That creates a huge inequality gap, which means, simply put, the rich get richer. And you know the rest of that statement.
Right. So what I would say is the reason why I tie all of this to voting is because black, brown, white issues, a lot of them are one and the same. Now, we tired of getting killed by the police at a higher rate than we should be. Everybody should acknowledge that. But you have a segment of the population who like to downplay that, who like to obfuscate, who like to play games with the information, who like to recruit token blacks to the party to say, you're going to charge somebody for shooting in a wall when a black woman got shot and killed in her bed. So we get it. We know you playing games. But when you talk about the power that we have in that one single vote, if we exercise it every single time with consistency, not just this year with 32 days to go, because we know what we think of Trump and how he has handled COVID and killed 208,000 people at this point because of mismanagement of a pandemic. Okay? But if you want to look at that from an identity politics standpoint, 1 in 10, 1 in 5 black people are affected by COVID. And if you couple that with the income wealth gap and the fact that jobs are scarce because the economy is still semi-shut down, why would you not vote? That should be the question.
Look, just somebody just shared in the chat, I think it was at least the Marine One, and just confirm that the
What
president.
other comments we got out there, Liz? Right. Let's see who we got in the room. Let's get some of the not so usual suspects.
Gotcha. All right, let me see what we got out here. I think that's Cameron Johnson.
Hey, Cameron. Welcome.
Trying to get, let's see what we got. Oh, Sarita in the house. Okay.
Hey, Sarita.
So, all right, and then Willie Mae confirmed that it is pre-existing conditions in healthcare.
Thank you, Willie Mae. I knew I was on to something.
Let me see what we got. Iris put this, urge your listeners to watch the Comey Rule. Jim Comey compared 45 to Sonny the Bull. Yikes.
Yeah.
Sammy the Bull, rather. Kind of quiet, man. I think you've been laying it down. You're giving people a lot to think about. Guys, put your comments in there. We'd love to get them in before we end the show today. Look. The time is now. Go time is now. I mean, that's all I got, really. I mean, we know what we need to do. We know you need to make sure that you take the actions to make sure that your vote is exercised, your voice is is heard, your action is counted. Go time is now. We know what we need to do.
Yeah.
Go time is now.
And I want you to put that Michigan case up, because the Michigan case, the robocall case.
Did you send me that one?
Yeah, I sent it to you.
I don't see that one. Let me see if you.
If I didn't, hold on a second. Anyway, there was the indictment yesterday.
Oh yeah, I got the robocall. All right, here you go.
So these guys actually put their name in the robocall. So because they felt like they could get away with it, but they were essentially targeting Detroit. Why would you target Detroit? Because Trump won Michigan by about 10,000 votes. So if they could suppress, I think they did what, 20, I think the AG said about 20,000 calls or so. They did more than that across the United States, but in her state, that's how many she caught them doing. And they actually put their names on the robocalls, telling people that the credit card companies were going to come after them if they vote, to do the vote in the incorrect manner, all sorts of shenanigans. This is the type of stuff that's going to be happening over the next 32 days. Pennsylvania just, I don't have a citation to it, but Pennsylvania just, the Republican chamber has started an election integrity committee with subpoena power to challenge the 2020 election after it's already started.
Wow.
I'm gonna tell y'all a little something, and I'm gonna say it real loud. They are afraid of your vote. When people are afraid and their backs are up against the wall, they come up with all kind of creative stuff. What I would say to you is make your plan. You vote. It's just like on the airplane. When they show you the safety demonstration, they tell you put your seatbelt on. If we hear some turbulence and the oxygen mask come out, put yours on first and then help your neighbor. So you get your vote done, and then you help your neighbor, and then your neighbor and your cousin, your sister, and your brother too. That sounds like an Outkast lyric.
Yeah, I was thinking that.
You know what I'm saying? Me and you, your mama and your sister too. The votes are there. Let's do it. You got a chance to put in 2 Democrats in Georgia, 1 in Mississippi, 1 in South Carolina, a bold new South. And that's not even to mention the fact that Arizona, you got an astronaut you can put in. Alaska, you have a doctor who killed a bear. You put him in. Maine, Susan Collins been real mealy mouth, defending all the lies that the president puts out there, all the foolishness that he says. Get rid of her. North Carolina, Tom Tillis, bye-bye. You know what I'm saying? Go down the list. If you vote, don't be afraid. Don't boo. Vote. Don't be afraid of it. Claim it. Name it. Execute
it. You just ran down there. Hey man, I hadn't seen you run like that down that list like that in a long time.
Hour? You just had a derecho.
You did.
You got a chance. You got a chance to get rid of an enabler.
You know, we got states that are battleground states that have never, that in years have not been considered battleground states. It was a foregone conclusion. We knew which way they were going. This is definitely a different time, and I think in light of the last 24 hours, heck, in the light of the last 12 hours, there's a lot of different kind of thought processes going on right now for people.
Man, look. People are hypersensitive because Hillary Clinton lost in 2016 and we ended up with what we got. Well, a couple things happened. People got lax. People started nitpicking about policy issues. Sometimes you gotta look at the overall picture. You can't just get lax. And for those people that are going around saying the polls were wrong and Trump snuck in, Trump won really by 77,000 votes. The polls wasn't wrong. He lost the popular vote by almost 3 million votes. No, what happened was, and this is just real talk, and I know we're going a little bit over, but I'm gonna just lay a little real talk out for you. Hillary Clinton hired her post. She hired and then fired her posters 2 months before the election was over. So if you don't have somebody to give you GPS directions to where you need to be, you're not going to be there.
That's true.
If you don't go ask people for their vote and show them why you should be, they're not going to vote. Now, I would hazard to guess nobody should have to ask you for your vote right now when you see 208,000 people dead. But
you would think.
But here's the thing. If they don't ask you for the vote, I'm asking for them. I'm not asking by name. I'm just saying you have a franchise. Exercise it. Go vote. Take somebody with you. Go vote early so you can help out.
Vote early and take somebody else back to vote.
Yeah, and don't vote early and don't vote often because that's a felony.
Right. I didn't say vote. I didn't say vote but once. I said vote early and go take somebody else to vote.
Right. And then one last thing, Liz, and one last thing, because this has been on my spirit. All these shenanigans that they are pulling, and this is why voting matters so much, because we didn't show up and show out in the midterm. They won the Senate. And then they started rolling back voter protections. When they roll back voter protections, this is the first year that Governor Abbott can get away with putting one drop box in Harris County, which is the size. I don't know. I mean, I'll stop right there. I'll stop. But Harris County is it's probably bigger than Rhode Island, ain't it? That's a state within a state.
It is. And Harris County is, for those who don't know, that's Houston, right?
Yeah, that's Houston.
And so
you got one drop box. Well, check this out, though. You got one drop box in Houston.
Well, you got 11.
No.
Oh, no, you got 11 in Harris County.
Where you get 11 from when he just changed the rules and said one per county? He did that yesterday.
I think he had to amend it. So if I'm not mistaken, at least the reports that I saw this morning, now Harris County will have 11. Travis County, which is another big county, and which is Austin, Texas. I forget how many they'll have. I forget how many Dallas County will have, because there's no way you can have one drop off for all the people in those counties.
Okay, so here's the deal. He did it. Now, he's got to go to court and defend it.
It's going to be hard to do, man. It's going to be hard to do.
He's already done it.
How many people in Harris County alone?
4 million, 4.7 million, something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah,
it's over 6.5 in just in the metro area of Harris County.
Yeah, it's absolutely ludicrous. But when you see that happening, go take a look at Hager, MJ Hager. Huh? I wonder why. You can send John Cornyn home. Exercise your franchise.
No doubt.
And since let's see, who have I missed? Tom Tillis, Lindsey Graham. Oh, my man down in Alabama. You got Tubby Tuberville.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah.
Tubby Tuberville was a decent coach. No.
And he never was a great coach. I'm on record of saying that.
No, but he's actually winning that race right now. So Doug needs help.
Which is crazy. So, look, guys. Here's what I'm encouraging you. I had to get a little help from the boom on this one, but I need you to do this. I'm gonna ask you to help 5 people make sure they get registered, help them get to the polls to vote if they don't have a way to get there and vote. So I'm gonna ask y'all to help. Just help me out. We're gonna get the Boone to help us out a little bit, but I need you guys to do this for me. Here we go. Do this for me.
I got 5 on it.
I just need you to get 5. Let's get 5 on it. I got 5 on it.
Speaking of which, now that song was not really talking about 5 voters.
I know.
But look, we getting ready to go out the area this Friday, so I'm just gonna say it. Initiative 65 is on the ballot in Mississippi for medical marijuana. Put 5 on that.
So again, vote. No, vote, and then get other people to vote.
Yeah, don't vote. Now you go to jail.
No, I cleaned it up real quick. I said vote, and then get other people to vote, and that's how you vote. But definitely vote early. If you're in a state that allows you to vote early, vote early. You know, look, who else got 5 on it for me? I seen Tasha said she got 5 on it. Let's get 5 on it. I need you. We need you. We need you now more than ever to take action. We all have to come to play. All have to come to play in this election, in every election.
That's right.
We all have to come to play because I think now we've seen just how critical it is. Charles, you see it every day as you go in and out of the courts. It's critical that we have a voice. We can't have a voice if we don't take action.
No, and we have power that we can wield and wield in a very savvy manner to get some real change.
Man, my dad used to tell me closed mouths don't get fed.
That's right. So we asking for your vote. We asking for you to go and get at least 5 people. By the time you get back next Friday, it'll probably be 10. But let's keep it going.
I don't have a song for that one.
Yeah.
But definitely get 5 on it, and let's get aggressive out there, really and seriously. And then again, for those of you that might have not caught the first part of the show, the first thing that Charles and I did, seriously, because we want everybody to be healthy, is we did wish the First Lady and the President a healthy recovery, because it's the right thing to do for anybody, because I don't want anybody to be sick of COVID. But we all have a responsibility to do what we need to do to protect ourselves and others. And that need not be missed.
That's right. Wear your mask. Mask up. Mask up, Mississippi. And everywhere else. Social distance. Not just for yourself, but for your fellow man. And hey, we open. 601-340-6800. Give us a call.
You said that too fast, Charles. See, you got to slow that down because they might be dialing.
Oh, 601-340-6800.
Mm-hmm. So, you know what we're going to do today? Because it's still a great day in Tigerland. It's still a great week. We'll let the boom send us on out because I am calling all of you to get 5 on it. And I know this song is encouraging something else. Charles says get 5 on, what is that? What is it on the ballot?
Initiative 65.
Initiative 65. So
if you want to get 5 on it, give Mike Espy $5.
Yes, right.
Give Latrice Westbrook $5.
Right.
Go write some postcards. Text. Sign up for text messaging.
You can definitely do those things, guys. You absolutely have to get involved. This is the time to get off the sideline, get involved, right, and get ready to do your part.
Yeah. You got Ossoff in Georgia. You got Warnock in Georgia. You got some people in Georgia over there. Let's get it. You got Hager in Texas. I told you got a doctor. What's his name? Isaacs in Alaska. You got an astronaut in Kelly in Arizona.
Yeah, you do.
You got Jamie Harrison, big old smiling face over there in South Carolina. If he can't make you happy, nobody can.
Man, you crazy. Guys. I wasn't ready for that one. But look.
Man, look. He got that boy Lindsey Graham crying. I mean, they killing me.
Hey, he killing him. Look,
Yeah.
y'all be safe. Y'all do what you need to do. We're gonna have the boom remind you as we head on out of here. But y'all get 5 on it.
SOP.